at the end of the day, Mike, only one person can save us, and that's Nic Cage as Superman. He's the only person that can save us, because I have hope for Nic Cage. And Nic Cage is finally getting his day in the sun as Superman, soaking in those rays and fighting the bad guys. Well, we really don't know how much he's going to fight the bad guys, but, spoiler alert, this came out today. It's actually been leaked a little bit, but it's been back and forth. It's been confirmed 100% from the director of the Flash movie that Nic Cage is coming in to be Superman in the Flash movie. And he said he's been trying to do this for a while. He loves Nicolas Cage, a big fan. Nic Cage is a big fan of Superman in general. In case you didn't know, about 25 years ago, Nic Cage was supposed to be Superman in Superman Lives. All right? Huge Superman fan. You're talking about branching off of, again, Michael Keaton's Batman universe. They were going to do a Batman versus Superman with Nic Cage as Superman and Michael Keaton as Batman. That was something they were talking about after this movie came out.
That would have been so
I
great.
would fucking love that. Oh my god.
It would have been so fucking dope. But it went down development hell. And this is actually after Batman Returns too, because Warner Brothers was not too sure. Yeah, look at that. Look at the costume. It's like he's wearing a really flimsy bra. But, it's like they were very upset because they wanted to be brighter and happier. And, they were trying to change the direction. And Tim Burton's like, no, this is my way. This is what we're doing. And it's working. Why are we changing it? And Superman was going to be the same way. The actual plot was loosely based off the death of Superman. And Nic Cage was going to be fighting Brainiac. And Brainiac had an idea to block out the sun and just throw Doomsday down and destroy and kill Superman. And that's what the plot was. He was able to kill Superman, take over the world, and then Superman would get this really weird, crazy suit in order to give his powers coming back and then fight Brainiac off. And that was the whole idea for Superman Lives.
Where does the long hair come into the equation? I mean, he looks beautiful.
He was like an emo. He was more of an emo Superman, not the normal Superman. But also, I thought that the whole thing was that he was dying, and then somehow when he died in Lois Lane's arms, his soul magically left his body and impregnated her with baby Superman, and then she gave birth to a Superman, and then hold on, don't shake your head. No. And then she gave birth to
Superman. Non-canonical. No.
Non-canonical.
No, I'm serious though. I read this today. So the baby Superman all of a sudden flash forwards to 21 years old, like the Thundermans situation, by the way, when they had Maya and she grew way older every 5 minutes. So then he was all of a sudden 20 years old, and he retook the Superman helm and then saves the world because Lois Lane dies. Now, I will be clear. Kevin Smith wrote the initial script, and then they canned Kevin Smith and gave this other guy, I can't remember his name, I'm so sorry I didn't write it down, the opportunity to write the script before they canned it. So maybe that was the second version?
Yeah, that was a later draft.
That was a later draft. I definitely read that today.
But that was after Nic Cage. That was after Nic Cage was all attached to it.
No, it was Nic Cage's movie. I read it.
Well, it was after the initial Tim Burton thing. That was after Tim Burton dropped out. And then once Tim Burton was done, it just kind of piled off. It just kind of didn't work. It just fell apart. I mean, that's what they say about it. I mean, there's a whole documentary about it too, which is kind of fun. If anybody hasn't seen it, check it out.
That Kevin Smith has been doing, yeah?
Yeah. But the big thing too is Andy, the director of Flash, said that Nic Cage was so into it. He said he was super excited about it.
He named his son Kal-El. I'm sure he was super into it.
Yeah,
he's a massive comic book fan. He's been very vocal. He's wanted to play Superman since way back when he was still just little Nicky Coppola.
Nicky Coppola, you're right.
Yeah. He was Nicky Coppola.
It blows my mind. But he's in the Flash.
He wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think about this? He's in the Flash, and this is cool. Then he's going to set up more Nic Cage, or is this a one-off thing because it's the multiverse?
Man, hopefully we're gonna see it, and this is a thing that the internet is gonna love. I mean, there's very few people. There's Keanu Reeves, there's Nic Cage, and there's who's the other guy? Must go faster. From
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, yes. Those are my top 3 internet celebrities off the top of the dome. Although that sounded like a bad adaptation of the death of Superman. Sean, you've read that, right? That's why we get the non-canonical. Brainiac was not involved.
No.
Brainiac was awesome.
No, yeah. And the whole baby idea.
Christopher Walken, by the way.
I'm all for
Walken.
that. I'm all for Christopher Walken as a Brainiac, but you don't need to throw all that stuff in the death of Superman, a baby Superman. Now just get him into his Kryptonian rejuvenation pod and he emerges. He's got no memory for a little bit. It's gonna be fine. This is it's how Superman does his thing. Show me other versions of Supermans that come in. Give me Eradicator. Give me Steel. Shaq can reprise his. Yeah, if Nick Cage
bring
Superman's
Shaq in.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Nick Cage's Superman is in the Flash, I want Shaquille O'Neal's Steel. I want him to be in it as well. I'm sure he's not. But yeah, no, I think I called this last week or thought this would be damn cool. And when you told me this morning that the news had broke, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Give the man his due, give the man his day in the red and blue tights. And I'm sure it was a dream come true for Nick Cage.
Yeah, it makes me wonder though what the suit will look like, what kind of hair he'll have, if he will have long hair, will he not have long hair? Sabrina, are you stoked about this at all?
I'm super stoked about it, and now he has been a version of Spider-Man in the multiverse, or into the Spider-Verse, and now he's got to be a Superman. Like, I'm super jazzed for him. I'm a huge Nick Cage fan. I think he's amazing. I think everyone knows that. I'm just kind of pissed that the director leaked this information. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I know that, like, some people who saw the premieres or stuff has been talking shit about it, but this is like a confirmation. It's like, it's no longer a rumor. It's not a leak anymore. It's like, it's fact, which is kind of fucked up. But like looking at the history of Warner Brothers, unfortunately, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson leaked Henry Cavill being in the post-credit scene. Warner Brothers themselves leaked Gal Gadot being in the post-credit scenes of Shazam. So like, it's kind of on brand, but also pretty not cool, if you ask me. Like, I think it would have been way more effective if people would have seen it and been wowed by it, and it came out with word of mouth as opposed to a director doing an interview. Honestly, I'm kind of bummed about that.
Studios just aren't leaving that up to chance anymore. They want to do everything they can, throw as many baited hooks as they can into our pond, and say, hey, if Ezra Miller isn't your flavor, well, guess what else is going to be in that movie?
Yeah.
Guess what else? It's like, oh, I froze at a really inopportune time there. But anyway, I think it's just part of the game that we're in now. It's nothing is sacred, and everything is spoiled. And sure, we can be surprised here and there, but for the majority of it, we know what's going to happen in this movie now. And I'm still looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to still be beautiful, but
I can't wait. It can't come fast enough.
June can't come soon enough.
June 15th can't come fast enough.
As long as he gets some screen time. Do we think we're going to get some
It's
actual
a cameo.
Nick Cage screen?
It's a cameo.
I feel like it's just a pop-in. It's like going to be like
how much are you going to see of him? It would be great to have him and Keaton face to face though for a second. It would be great.
Oh yeah,
put those two together. And even the director Andy Mussolini was saying that he's like, it's not a big part. He was saying that, but he was saying that Nick Cage gave it his all, and you could tell like he was heavily into it.
How's Mussolini involved with this film?
I can't say his last name, so everybody know how to say his last name.
Maybe pick not a dictator for that next time you go about
I said Mr. Manny. That's what I said. Anyways, I think it's going to be awesome. That's all I can say. And I hope that he gets a little bit of screen time. Hopefully it's not like half a day, one scene, we're in and out. Hopefully he gets, a little extended thing. But I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things, traveling through the multiverse. He probably pops in for a second, pops out, Probably what it's going to be. But overall, it's fucking good news for Nick Cage fans out there because he finally gets his fucking day.
And speaking of Mussolini. Oh, I was doing your segue for you, Brian. Sorry.
I love it. Give us a segue.
Mike, you don't have a segue for me, huh?
No, it's just the Mussolini one. I didn't know what segue you're popping into.